Okay, brother dear, you wanted to see how this is done. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So this is the one I made. The squares are 2 inches each. Overall, that's 23 3/4 by 23 3/4. I did good. Yours, we won't go with the radioactive red, but we will do the walnut. So these are the woods I have planned. Here's a piece of the black walnut that I have, and a piece of the maple. Should give a nice contrast. Certainly be able to see which one's which. So the idea is I'm going to take a piece of 1/2 inch plywood to about here. So it's one piece of plywood. On that plywood, I am going to put the squares in, right? So 64 of them into this area. And any making fun of my drafting ability will cause a permanent stop of the project. So one thing, if you notice on here, the grains go in different directions. So I think if I recall, that's to handle any expansion or contraction, because they'd expand against the grain like this, never with the grain, and it would bump into this, which obviously isn't going to expand. So plus it makes it, I think it makes it look nicer. So all the red, all the greens going this way. On the walnut, the greens going this way. So that's the first part about it, to glue all them in. And then I was going to put in some type of feature here around the outside, similar to this. So here you've got some black veneer, piece of looks like maple veneer, and then black veneer again. I saw one guy do it actually with bronze, or with a brass square rod in there, which looked pretty cool. He mitered all the edges, set in there real nice. I may try that. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it. So now if you look at this from the cross section, you've got your 1/2 inch plywood, and then we've got the squares in there, and those squares going to be somewhere around 1/2 inch 3/8. I'm thinking somewhere in that neighborhood. Actually, it depends on, after I plane the wood, what dimension I can get. I don't want it too thin. If I get it too thin, I think it'll warp. If I get it too thick, then it might look clumsy. I don't know. But I'm thinking somewhere about 1/2 inch to 3/8. So then I want to put, so as you can see, the squares are going to be on top of the plywood. So all of this out here is going to be a walnut border similar to this without the decorations. And it is going to go out to like 23.5 inches. Like that, and it'll be a lap fit. So I will undercut the piece of walnut so it fits over this. So the walnut will go something like this. And lap over it, and then you've got your little feature thingy here. And your, although this would all be level, it wouldn't be a step up like it is on there. So that's a general idea, what I want to do. Also thinking about a little embellishment, and we can talk about that later. So that's the plan. I've already take this off. So I have already, get your thumb out of there, mapped out what I want to do. So this is step by step of how I want to go about doing it. And what do I have? 21 steps in all. And by the way, this is the table I made for Karen, the pedestal. I like it. I think it looks pretty nice. Wasn't that easy because you got all this taper on the legs. All 8 of the legs had to be identical. And then I dovetailed them into this disc in the middle. So the big wood I have, here's the piece of walnut and the piece of maple. I'll probably only need about this much of the maple. The walnut I'll need more simply because I've got to do the frame in walnut. But before I can get started, I have to clean, because my place looks like a war zone. It's a frickin' mess. So, probably start on this tomorrow. If I get the gumption, if I get enough energy to clean it out today. Okay, so that's a volume 1 of Dave's chessboard project. Ta-ta.